American body. So he was actually adopted into a Japanese family under the name of Yoshio Tanamiota, so he could be accepted in the martial arts community. And that's just a testament to how much he's trained and his skill level. At this time, I'll field any type of questions anyone has. I know that was like a run through. I just want to be able to get to everything that we have.
What inspired you to become? Oh, sorry. Yeah. What inspired you to become part of this? Did you mention this in the beginning?
No, I didn't really. What inspired me? I was in Tangsudo, which is a Korean art. It's a combination of Hapkido and Taekwondo. And I was doing that for about 6 months, and then my one friend was like, "Hey, my sister just brought me to this really awesome school." At this time, it wasn't very publicized yet. It was out in Bethlehem in our Humble Dojo, which is like the headquarters of martial arts schools. And I went there, and I'm looking at what he's doing. I'm seeing people get tossed. I'm like learning how to take out guys like twice my size in my first class, and I'm just like, holy crap, this stuff is pretty awesome. So what originally brought me into it was kind of, I was like this tall at the time, skinny kid. I'm taking out these huge guys, and I'm like, there's something to this stuff. So it just was kind of like a shock and awe that really made me join. And it's really interesting because as you progress, it's a true testament to what it can do for your life, to the different things that you can overcome, fears. There's a whole side of it about philosophy, and you delve into who you are, and it really helps define you. So it's really been an rewarding experience to say.
Are all those brews under that one umbrella? I can't pronounce the name.
Sogobujutsu.
Or do you learn all those brews as part of the Sogobujutsu?
Okay, good question. So, Sogobujutsu is like this umbrella term, and all of those Ryu train Sogobujutsu. They all train all forms of combat.
So you'll learn all of those?
Yes, I'll get to that part. We're very fortunate to be able to learn all of those. But each one is known for something. Yes, we learn all of those. My sensei's sensei, his name was Tanamiota Katsumi. My sensei was named Tanamiota Katsumi. And he went around and he got the highest rank possible. In most of them, he got the highest rank possible, which is Menkyo Kaiden, which is an inheritor of scrolls in these 14 different Ryu. Normally, you're not allowed to train outside of one Ryu. And what happened was, after World War II, there was this huge turn against samurai and anything Japanese, because the samurai lost us the war. They needed to put the blame somewhere, and they found to put the blame on samurai, and they're like, you guys lost us the war, and they turned their backs on it. They're like, no more of this. And they started to become Americans, essentially. They placed a little Statue of Liberty in the middle of their largest city, and they all go around saying, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. They just love America. So what happened was all of these schools are like, we have this history, we have 2,000 years of history here. We want to keep it alive, and they were slowly dying out because no one wanted to train it. So our Tanamiota Katsumi sensei took advantage of this and was just like, I'll learn everything you have. I'll learn everything you have. I'll keep it alive. And then he came over to America and started training over here. Really fortunate. Any other questions or comments?
Is what you're going to be demonstrating, is that a specialty area of yours within Sogo? I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing it.
Sogobujutsu.
Yeah, Sogobujutsu. Is that your thing that you've grasped the most, or is that just something that you just feel like doing?
My goal is to grasp as much as I can in all of it. The reason why I'm demonstrating Kugi Shinryu Bojutsu is with the 14 Ryu that we come from, we want to be legitimate, and we want to be able to tell people that we are real. So one of the things that we do as a requirement, once you get to a certain rank, you have to write a history research report. And right now what we're attempting to do is trace our lineage back as far as we can. In Daito-ryu is the only one it's the second one, the first one that we have completed, and we're actually able to trace our lineage back to 850 AD in a straight line of the heads and who taught who. Kugi Shinryu is the Ryu I decided to pick in order to really learn about them and be able to trace them back as far as we can. And we've gotten to the 1300s, which is about when they were founded. So that's why I'm demonstrating them. at our school, at Neji Gekken Ryu, because we come from 14 different Ryu who all have this one thing that they're really good at, we try to take not necessarily the techniques, but the principles. And from the principles, we apply each principle from each different Ryu that we get to each other to really form this art that's unbreakable. That's really been... I'm walking on eggshells here, so I'm not trying to say that we invented Sogobujutsu. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that because of Tanomori Katsumi, we have been able to strengthen it, because we've been able to take all of these Ryu and bring them together.
So continue with that sort of Darwinian evolutionary kind of thing. It's still progressing and changing and adapting and getting better.
Yes. Yes, it's very much adapting, and you by the end of a person's lifetime, which there aren't many yet, we're the only school who teaches Sogobujutsu in the United States of America. It's actually really interesting because you see people progress far beyond what a samurai of ancient Japan was able to, because he's warring every weekend from when he's 16 years old. Just there's some magnificent things you get to see. Like I'll share a story. Tanomori Katsumi Sensei, who isn't alive anymore. That's my sensei. Near the end of his life, I'm not sure how old he was. The bamboo story, how old was he? About.
He was in his mid-50s.
So he's about 50s. He made like this stand with like 2 V's. He took a piece of bamboo and he wrapped it in paper and he stuck it there. He took a sword and he cut through the paper and bamboo and it didn't move. It didn't move at all. And his explanation for that is, I talked to the bamboo, I talked to the paper, I asked it to stay. So it's really interesting on. Please interrupt me sometimes.
He said he had an intimate relationship with the paper, and the paper and him understood each other.
And it's just like different things. How exactly what you're saying. It just keeps progressing and being able to move on and forward.
Just another quick question about the Civil War. Not knowing much about the history there. And kind of in the context of the Darwinian thing, did it get to the point where everybody was just so good at killing that they realized that it was almost like a stop the war situation? Like this is getting out of control, and we're all so skilled and we're all so developed here that it's truce time.
No, not really. The warring never really stopped. You're really picking my brain here.
Sorry, I'm just curious.
No, that's fine. It's great. There was a man, forget his name. I have to look to my instructor, who went through and basically united all of Japan.
Toyotomi Hideyoshi.
I'm not even gonna try to say that name. he went through and he basically united all of Japan, and that is, as I understand it, essentially when the warring first started to really trickle out and it really started to separate out.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, how many hours a day do you spend learning, training?
Right now, I go in at 4 o'clock and I leave around 8:30. And all of that is, most of the time, training. And I do that about 3 days a week. Any other questions at all?
Plus the other 2 days.
Well, yeah. Plus Tuesdays and Thursdays, I train an hour and a half at a different location.
Do you feel that this has really benefited you in terms of your academic life as well?
I definitely struggled with my academics, and this has given me
focus,
and it's given me a perspective that it's not all about academics. That you don't need to be academic to be successful, and that's something I often struggled with. And when I found this, I was looking at this, and it was something that I was able to progress in, and I feel be proficient at this stage. And it's really helped me to see that life stretches beyond academics. It stretches beyond school, beyond college, and you don't need to be the best at that to be successful.
So it gave you a balance.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. It gave me a good balance. Awesome. Well, if there's no more questions, we can go to our
See this.
demonstrations.
I know.
Cool.
Yep. So we'll progress